Everybody, and welcome back. My name is Evolution Gaming's Woodhouse, and I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 VOD. And this time it is game number 2 between EG's HuK, spawning over here on the bottom left side of Antigua Shipyard, against EG's EGIdrA, spawning on the top right side. Doing a little bit of trash talking on D Apollo. Little bit of trash talking. HuK giving him the heart. EGIdrA with the no, we're serious. A little bit of banter going on in the chat here, like I said, with D Apollo. So I'm going to assume this was from an MLG or potentially a DreamHack IEM situation. Only because I've seen two very different loading screens right now, and that's from the and that's basically that we had a GSL loading screen. Sorry, I had a little bit of a mental lapse there. And then we had an MLG here, so I'm going to go ahead and assume this is an MLG because I know those two freely exchange maps, and we do have the HuK Norris probe. Trying to be so irritating over here. I'm going to have to see if HuK decides to again go for some sort of an early Stargate play like he chose to last time, but again it looks like he's going to go ahead and go Nexus first. That's exactly what he's going to do. He has the 400 minerals. There we go. So Nexus first coming out of HuK. EGIdrA, that expansion is getting blocked, though, by that probe. And HuK is very well known for having this sort of, that sort of mentality. And as you can see, EGIdrA going to go ahead and over here just take his natural one base over, just to get it down. Nothing HuK can really do about that except for cannon behind that mineral line, but he decided not to because that's a huge sink. And now HuK giving EGIdrA a little bit of the hard time. That's one thing I've noticed is kind of interesting with some of these players. There are some very, very storied rivalries between these two. For any of you who remember Dallas 2010, I believe that's where it was. It might have been later. HuK beat EGIdrA with hallucinated void rays and then chose to tell him about it. I believe there was some sort of disciplinary action, but does anybody really care at that point? It was funny to watch EGIdrA rage, as it usually is. Now, EGIdrA has gotten better with that, though. You see a gateway and a double gas coming down yet again, a pylon. Or this photon cannon coming in right behind the Nexus. Ling's going to stop right out in front to make sure they can see exactly what is going on. EGIdrA is supply blocked, getting his secondary Nexus, yes, EGIdrA is now the Protoss player, getting his secondary hatchery down at his natural. And the Overlord going to come in and sneak its way back here, potentially see what's going on. We do have the gateway a little far back. I'm actually not entirely sure what HuK is going for here. Usually when you do this, you'd want the forge up just maybe a little bit more to kind of line up there, and then you can throw a gateway right there in that middle and block it off. So I'm not sure really what HuK is going for. He did actually inhibit one of his mining pathways, though, with that cannon. Cybernetics core coming down for HuK. We go back up here to the EGIdrA base. Still no gas geysers taken. EGIdrA going to go ahead and just flood with drones. Just droning hard. Drone so hard. EG want to sign me, I guess. So again, we see HuK just going to continue to drone away as well. Still no real identifier of what he wants to do with this game. He does have a forge out. He's getting level 1 upgrades. Some more lings from EGIdrA coming out. The natural is finished, and actually EGIdrA is doing a really good job of pooping the creep tumors and getting everything connected, as most Zerg players would like to do, because it's really, really risky for everybody else to go and attack on creep, obviously. Still only 4 lings coming out for EGIdrA, and we do have a Roach Warren coming down. Now we have 6 lings, actually, at the moment I said that. But still not that many Lings should a 4-gate be coming or something like that. But obviously IdrA, seeing the expansion, knows that there is no such pressure. HuK, on the other hand, going to go ahead and go 6 gates. This is, I'm going to assume, is some sort of a 6-gate 2-base all-in, as is per usual with most Protosses, it seems, as of now. The meta hasn't changed that far, apparently. These 2 Tickle Beams are going to come over here and... Oh, the Overlord gets away with 50 health. That is too bad. Overlord gets away. HuK going to go ahead and continue to drone, or probe, excuse me. Ling speed coming out now for IdrA. Still no lair. But we do have 6 roaches just about to pop. Ling's coming home, and the roaches do pop. IdrA doing a very good job of choosing whether he wants to drone or unit, and as you can see, everything's going to rally right down here into the middle of the probe. From HuK is going to get a good, maybe scout? Nope, doesn't see the roaches out yet. Level 1 missile attacks coming in for IdrA as well. HuK with the 6th century push. We've heard of Liquid Noni's notorious 15th century push, but never just 6. Ling's coming around to scout for some proxies, and they actually must have seen that, and we do have another warp in from HuK of Zealots. I'm going to go ahead and break down the back wall. And yep, the Lings did actually know that Bylon was there. So HuK able to get one more... Oh, maybe, yeah. Oh, is HuK going to save that? He does! He actually manages to save it with a force field over the pylon itself, and the Zealots break through the vac. IdrA going to bring all of his forces up here to defend this. The Ling's getting... that was... Okay, that wasn't as fun as I thought. 3rd base for HuK going down now, so both players are going to be on 3 bases. HuK is on 6 gateways. I'm deciding actually just to back off now. So probably going to go into some sort of a robo play now that he did a little bit of the scare tactic. And oh my god, we see Lings coming down here for IdrA. Photon cannons going down, but honestly I don't think that's going to be enough. The Lings are going to go ahead and break these back rocks down. We do have one stalker going to come over here and poke and see what's going on, but that is a lot of Lings and roaches. 1 cannon finishes. We have another warp in from HuK. That is a lot of roaches. And HuK, choosing to engage this, does manage to cut off 3 of the roaches, and then IdrA backs off. So at this point we have seen a very small engagement from both of our players. And actually we can check, yep, this is still actually, this would have been what, 2 patches ago? That Overlord, or Overseer, or wow, Observer speed had not, the Observer build time hadn't been reduced yet. IdrA going to go ahead and take that gold base in the middle of the map. And in a lot of ways, I think this is kind of a nail in the coffin to some players. Once Zerg gets on that gold base, they have all the resources they need. It's basically an infinite money situation, or it feels like it sometimes. HuK going to go ahead and push out with 116 supply. Still no immortals in this push, actually. Burrow being researched, as well as level 2 missile attacks for IdrA and roach speed. We also see a Twilight Council coming down. Now, HuK has the Observer over in IdrA's base. IdrA must have noticed something, because he is going to go ahead and morph the Overseer. And IdrA looking like he's just going to let HuK take this base out. Probably a good move by IdrA, considering the supply differential. But now, if we go ahead and look in the Units tab, 81 drones. That's about where he wanted to be. So actually, yeah, the definite supply advantage is in IdrA's favor right now. Not just because of the number, but also because of the number of workers that they have associated with it. IdrA has the supply lead. He has the economic lead. And right now, he can basically just take a base anywhere. He is actually dropping down macro hatches, as you can see there. And we do have an infestation pit also on the way. Doesn't seem like it's a lot of roaches until you have to fight it. And then you get this nice little after swell of roaches as well. And actually, these roaches, a few of them getting trapped, but it looks like they're going to go for the flank. HuK trying to position himself to deal with it, but IdrA just getting the better position here. One stalker, that poor stalker gets picked off. HuK forced to retreat. Another warping of units, and we do see an immortal finally coming out. The rocks for HuK are going to go down. IdrA does back off after that, though. IdrA is basically maxed. He can build like one more roach and he'll be maxed. HuK, however, is sitting on 150 supply on 3 bases and no colossi out. This is a big, I feel, useless army for HuK in the sense that he will have a total of an immortal out. He is getting blink, though, so that is kind of a saving grace. He can micro that. But that is still a lot of, I would call, dead supply in a lot of ways, just because he doesn't have any Colossi support to go with this. And this is a lot of roaches. We do see 56 roaches out now for IdrA. HuK making sure he himself does not get flanked at all. Oh, some good force fields by HuK. Actually, really good force fields by HuK. And the units... Oh, the Immortal goes down. The supply is plummeting for IdrA, kind of, I guess. That is... Oh, but HuK, you left yourself vulnerable. The Roach is going to come up here into the main, do some work on these probes. HuK is sitting behind now. You have to blink up. HuK, blink up! You have blink? Or you had blink? There we go. He does blink up. It looks like he is going to take care of this, but if we go ahead and look at the workers killed tab, 23 probes killed for IdrA and 0 for HuK. So at this point, actually, HuK is really far behind, especially looking at the drone and probe count up here in the corner. We do have 80 drones to 31 probes. Not the position you want to be in, and actually doesn't have that much money. You can see IdrA banking a lot of minerals. That's pretty standard at this point. Like I said, from HuK, I would like to see some more Colossi. But it looks like at this point he is content just to play the Stalker game, which is fine. Stalker Immortal, and oh, there is one Colossus coming out. So supply now is swinging back in IdrA's favor. He's going to be able to fill the supply a lot of the way with Lings. If we go ahead and open production again, actually not that many Lings. We do have a Greater Spire coming out now, though. So it is going to end up being some sort of a Broodlord battle here in a little bit. Colossus is also just about out. HuK staying pretty well spread. Wants to get the better concave on IdrA, who actually has to run into channels up to his opponent. And at the 17-minute mark here, it's not looking so hot for HuK. But we'll have to see, because all it really takes is one bad engagement by IdrA to change the time. We do see a little engagement here in the middle. IdrA holding the middle of the map. And the Ling run by HuK is not looking forward to that. We do see the engagement here in the middle. Some Roach is getting trapped, but I don't think it's going to be enough. We do have the run by down here by IdrA. It is going to come out and kill some more probes. And HuK just continuing to clean up the middle of the map, but I don't think it's going to be enough. We do have some Corruptors going to come out here soon. But look at the army from IdrA regrouping back here. IdrA probably abandoning that base for now. He does realize he doesn't have a whole lot there to deal with it. Some Zealots getting warped in by HuK back in his main. IdrA is now supply blocked, though, as one Overlord does go down. And HuK choosing to back off. Now, again, IdrA is basically maxed. He should just be able to push right through HuK at this point and win the game. A second Colossus from HuK does come out, though. But, again, if we look at the Workers Kill tab, IdrA's up to 53 and holding the center of the map and basically every other base on HuK's side of the map in terms of, like, creep spread, things like that. So, really, IdrA's in a really great spot right now. He could probably bring his drones back, considering there's no longer a threat in the middle. But IdrA does have center map control, and that's what makes this map so unique at times. Is basically if you can control this section of the map, you control where your opponent expands and how fast they expand. It makes it really, really nice for just about any player to be able to siege up here. Not only control the gold base, but also control, how and where your opponent is expanding. IdrA looking to actually pretty content right now just to play the War of Attrition game. A Dark Shrine coming out for HuK, though, so when behind Dark Shrine, I believe this is still the 100-250 Dark Shrine that we are all used to. We could actually look at it, I'm sure. Yep, 100-250. And the engagement in the middle, some good force field, but it's not going to be enough. HuK able to partition IdrA's army just a little bit, but it's not going to be enough to swing the tide of battle. IdrA still at 96 supply to 112 of HuK. Some Roaches coming around for the flank, and they're going to catch this army off guard, picking off 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units. A blink forward, and some more. Whoa, he did not decide to focus fire down the Colossi. And so the roaches, while they're burrowed, they're going to heal here. I don't believe IdrA has the movement for the roaches underneath the ground, but that's okay. And there we go. We do see some DTs finally out on the field. IdrA actually expanding expanding everywhere at this point. He needs gas, though. He's pretty gas-starved, especially once you start getting into the Broodlord portions of the game. Where did the army go from HuK? There it is. Sorry, I just momentarily lost the army of HuK, and we do see 4 Colossi out on the field now. 1 more on the way for EG's HuK. IdrA, on the other hand, starting the Spore and Sentry Wall. Or the Spore and Spine Wall. And actually decides to make some of those pop and gives himself a little bit of space. Zerg armies are entertaining in that standpoint that you can actually cause some issues with the counter because of the way spine crawlers work and whatnot. You can actually get above 200 supply, and I think that's what IdrA was going for, but he actually managed to lose some supply because of the DTs. And HuK going to try and work away at the infestation pit, but does not get it down. IdrA making sure there's nothing else going on up here in this base. HuK going to try and clean up some of the overlords on the map. I think at this point, though, it is too little too late. IdrA is basically suffocating HuK out. The War of Attrition is swinging seriously in his favor, and IdrA, with 6 Broodlords out now, can begin his just slow push into the Protoss Ball. HuK just now getting level 1 armor. We do have another Colossi coming out, so total of 6 Colossi. I'm trying to find the forge. Yeah, HuK only has level 3 weapons. Not a good position to be in. And the Broodlords start the assault. 1 Colossus goes down. And let it begin. Some good partitioning there by HuK, but even with that... ooh, and the blink underneath the Broodlords. 1, 2... Ooh, no. That was not a good engagement for IdrA at all. Not only attacking into the choke point, but it does look like he has enough units to just overwhelm his opponent at this point. He still has 2 Broodlords left up, and all HuK has is Colossus. Those Colossi are completely exposed. 1 goes down. He's down to 4 again. And IdrA forced just to back up just a little bit. So not that efficient of a trade by IdrA. He did actually lose a lot of roaches, but again, he's able to remax fairly quickly on lings. Those high gas units for Zerg in the late game are what really makes the difference. We do see a couple of DTs from HuK. The Overseer gets taken out. And the DTs are going to go ahead and come across here. So at this point, like I said, HuK is losing the War of Attrition fairly badly. He's been on 3 bases this entire game. Main is basically mined out, the natural is basically mined out, and the third is the only one that really has anything left on it, and even that is getting dry very, very quickly. And actually with IdrA creeping up the map completely, there's not a whole lot of room for HuK to go ahead and expand. So HuK he's stuck with what he's got, and he's got to make the best out of it. We do have 2 more Broodlords out on the field. If we go ahead and switch to the units tab here, we do see 5 Broodlords, 2 more morphing. So that'll be a total of 7 Broodlords out on the field. We do have 2 Infestors and a bunch of Roaches. The army from HuK again just content to sit here. IdrA throwing away some more supplies so he can free up for more Broodlords. Because he has 4 of them in production, so that'll be 9 Broodlords. That's kind of the death note for HuK, I think. IdrA, on the other hand, if we were just talking about the situation of HuK, look at the amount of bases IdrA has. He has his main is mined out, his natural just about mined out, the gold is just about mined out, and he's taking 2 more bases. So IdrA is in a really great position. HuK sees this army coming and is probably just shaking his head right now, thinking, how did I get in this position? It's going to come down to this final push. If HuK can hold, there might be new hope. If not, IdrA will more than likely just run in and start crushing. Do see some force fields going down, cutting the army in half, but I don't think it's going to be enough. He doesn't have enough anti-air to take care of those Broodlords. And yeah, that's about the death note for HuK at this. Oh my goodness. 1 Colossus goes down, 2 goes down, 3 goes down. The buffer is completely gone. And even with the right amounts of micro, I don't think HuK can survive this. We do have another small warp in, but HuK just doesn't have money at this point. Roach's burrow. Broodlord's left a little bit exposed. HuK at 95 supply now to the 200 of IdrA. And I don't think with any amount of micro from HuK in his top 3 unit control is going to fix this. We do see more roaches just coming by. IdrA doing a really great job this game of just being annoying with all of those units. If HuK gets out of position and IdrA feels it, he just goes in, starts killing probes. All of the good stuff. And it does look like HuK. Where are you going, HuK? I would say he's going to go ahead and just suicide those, but I don't know that for sure. And no, it actually looks like... Yeah, he is going to go ahead and just try and suicide those. Trying to take some minerals here at this gold, but not going to be able to make it. HuK holding on for dear life, but I do not think it's going to be enough. At 96 to 175 supply now, IdrA just has too much. It's just overwhelming odds, and there would have to be a lot that would go wrong for IdrA to lose this engagement. IdrA attacking from the high ground, killing the stalkers. Get a few force fields off, not that bad. But we do get a fungal growth that goes off on the stalkers that cannot blink away, and then the fungal does wear off, and they do actually go ahead and blink. 90 supply to 175, so HuK actually been behind this entire game, but managed to stay, fairly close to IdrA for most of it. But at this point, like I said, too little, too late, and I think HuK is about to ring the bell. 1DT does go in, fungal killed. And we get the army from HuK. I think HuK has finally realized that this game is just about over. More Broodlords morphing in the middle of the map. HuK trying to get a position, but again, like I said, it might in fact be too little too late considering the events that have transpired so far. HuK going to go ahead and try and flank, and he GG's out of the game. So IdrA taking that series 2-0. If you guys liked what you saw, like, subscribe, and comment, pass it on to your friends, and we will see you guys next time.